thinking to myself, Swami, what should I do? You opened it or I opened it? Did this message go from someone else also? So then I have nothing to do. I just tried my bit, but then the other person actually opened it because they got your message. Or did I do all of this? You have nothing to do with this. You were just casually surprised because it opened. What is my role now? That it's chaotic right now, and do I have to do something? Who would answer me? Who would I go and ask this question? Swami is inside, and probably I would think the way interview room is built, it's completely soundproof. Those huge wooden doors, you wouldn't hear a thing that's going on outside unless they open the windows up. So I think Swami is very busy with the interview, and the sound, the chaos, nothing is going inside. And I began to pray. Swami, give me a direction. What should I do now? Tell me what should I do. Somehow you send to someone or tell me from within, tell me what should I do. I literally panicked because I knew if it comes back and Swami starts to stitch dots together, it will come to me and that's the end of it. Because now it's not just one person or 2%, you're not fooling yourself. There are hundreds of students getting wet, and Swami really can get angry when he gets angry. And you would not want to see it. And you would not want to be at the receiving end of it more than seeing it. So I started praying to Swami. Back to the 5 magic words. Swami, Nive tappa itapparam berga mannem padagam deenunen. Swami, I have no one else but you. Save me. I will not repeat it once again. I will not boast myself of having understood you very well. I do not understand you. You are supreme. I am no one. I am telling everything I can to in my prayers. And then it feels strongly inside, like a voice from within, that I hear over and over again. Go and close the door. Close the roof. So this is what I am feeling as I am sitting with myself. Close the roof, close the roof, close the roof. Okay, now I open my eyes and what are you all doing? Close the roof. So just like my tantrums before, when Swami had to open the door, it's going on again in me. I'm getting built up in myself. Now I need to do something to close the door because the instruction is coming from within. I have understood. Swami is giving interview, but I could imagine Swami telling me in the interview room, close the door. So I have made this connection to myself, and now I am determined to close the door. But how would I do it? I have already done enough and put myself in enough trouble by opening it. Now if I know where is the button now, but I can go press it, but now that will be super obvious. And I could be completely wrong. So I wanted to do a lot of things to arrest the situation because I knew for certain Swami will not be happy seeing this. But how to close the door? Because he asked it to be closed, open. Swami will certainly any day not be happy that this many students got wet. Even if he wanted it open, he would have expected someone to take care of the kids and not get wet. And these kids are not getting up. How much can the teachers do when 200 students are not getting up from them? They, of course, did whatever they could do, pushing boys a little back, asking few kids to have the towels on them, and they were doing whatever they could do, but the scene is chaotic. And here I am sitting very dry in a corner, telling myself, close the door, close the door, close the door. It's killing me from within to do this. But I did not have the courage. I did not have the confidence to do it. I did not have the resources or energy or any of the things I would need to go tell someone or do it myself to close the door. And I did not. And Swami comes around 5 or so. He is surprised. He's shocked to see the scene. He saw this many students wet. He was so angry, as I could see from a distance. Very, very far, but I have a good view of as he comes up. He immediately ordered the roof to be closed. So people ran to the button, someone pressed it, and the whole thing came down. It was still raining as the roof is being closed, and the whole thing shuts after once, and the water stops. And now they start mopping, cleaning. So imagine Swami coming out, and they're like 30, 40 sevadal trying to do so many things. It's chaotic. It's usually absolutely serene wherever Swami is walking, and Swami is right there. And now you have water, you have kids wet, you have books wet, you have everything that you would not want when Swami is physically present. Swami said, "Ever open chesaru? Tunnapota, bad boy, bad boy." I have not heard it. I'm very, very far. But I see Swami saying something very harsh, and I see Swami very angry, and then they tell me later when I ask whoever is present what happened, and then Swami says, Swami is very angry. He called him Tunnapota, he said, bad boy. I was so dejected to myself. And even now, nobody knows it's me. So that's the positive of all of this. So while everybody is shocked, everybody is trying to stitch things together, I just made sure the people around me whom I initially wrote letters to and told are all my good friends. So we were all sitting together, so they would not tell anyone, so my name would never come. I'm happy that way, but with Swami, I am dejected. I personally am completely devastated. Completely devastated at this point. I know for certain Swami is unhappy, and I have not done what is to be done, of what is expected of me. So I decided to punish myself. And the best thing that you can do at that age is not to eat. Because hostel food is very tasty, and if you don't eat, yeah, it's your bad luck that you don't eat, and it closes at certain time, it opens at certain time, so and you don't get anything in between, so you go and eat when it's served. And you miss it, you miss it. So I decided not to eat forever. It's a young boy, I could do that, I thought. So I decided to myself that I will not touch food forever in my life. And then I was very sad to myself. I cried a lot. I wrote letters and put it in my altar. I slept somewhere while I was going through all this. And the next morning, the bell rings, the breakfast bell rings. I was the first one with plate because I was very hungry. Yeah, I could not resist for that long, but I was still feeling very bad. So I ate my food, but then every time I walk into, nearly a few months passed, but every time I walk into Mandir and they see this roof, that screeching sound of those wheels come back into me, and then I start imagining this whole episode, and it throws me out. I've written innumerous number of letters pleading, asking Swami for pardon, to please excuse me for this big mistake of mine if I have done it at all. Yeah, I'm still in back of my mind thinking it could also be that I have not actually opened it, someone else opened it. But I still give myself that credit, but probably I did. So I am writing letter after letter, letter after letter, letter after letter to Swami. And Swami never took any of those letters. And this happened for nearly 2 years. And I wanted to test somewhere in between if it's Swami is not taking my letter, or Swami is not taking this letter that I am actually apologizing. So I actually write something else that has nothing to do with this apology at all, and sit one day. And Swami takes that letter that day. And I come back with the same apology letter a few days later, and that I did not get a chance. But it could purely be coincidence, or Swami is just taking it because he did not want to accept my apology. Years passed. I forgot about it. I would think Swami forgot about it. Everybody forgot about it, even if Swami did not. And that roof I did not see from that day to today open again. And this was nearly 7 years later, or 6.5 or so years later, in Vrindavan. I had an opportunity to talk to Swami. This was the same year my grandfather passed away. And he was a lecturer in Prashantanilayam, and Swami knew him personally, so he was asking, since I was the only family member in Swami's institution at that point in time, he was asking me almost over a few months, every day, what was going on at home, how is everybody taking it, and so on. So this was one such occasion that he spoke to me in the morning. I almost knew he would speak to me again in the afternoon, because there is so much more to be communicated. I have a lot of information to tell Swami. Swami is asking a lot of questions in this regard. So then it struck to me, now when I go back to Swami in the evening, this episode that happened 6 years ago, could I bring this back and put a close to that issue once for all by asking him for apology and him saying accepted and me being relieved. Because this was still daunting me every time I see and every time I be there. So I decided to do this. I write this whole thing in a letter and then sit. And in the evening, Swami calls. He's asked a few questions. I've answered a few questions. And then the interview goes on and we are talking for some time. And Swami is reading letters. I'm sitting there doing his Pad Seva. And then he takes my letter. Letter Ra Seva, he asked. Did you write a letter? I said, yes, Swami. He takes the letter. He keeps it on his lap. And then asks me to take Pad Namaskar. And he says, go. This is the first time he's taken the letter that I have written an apology, number one. And then I did not want to go because now I want that issue to be closed today, because I do not know how long my time will last, because my grandfather already passed away nearly a month ago. So soon he need not ask me anything about it, so I will not get this opportunity to talk to him very often. So I sat there asking Swami to open the letter and read. Swami, I did not say it probably, but I meant please read it. Swami did not still read it. He put a hand on my shoulder and he said, మొదట చెప్పినప్పుడు చేశావు, రెండోసారి చెప్పినప్పుడు ఎందుకు చేయలేదు? He said, when I told you first you did it, when I told you second time why you did not do it? And I did not have enough time to reflect or ask more questions, and I had to come out. But then on reflection, I realized that my question to Swami was on this episode, and the answer Swami gave me back is, when I told you to open it, you opened it. But I also told you to close it. Why did you not close it? Now, it's important that we understand the omnipresence of Swami more than ever before. Swami has always been omnipresent. It's not now or today or yesterday that he started to become omnipresent. He's always been omnipresent. But Swami, even when he was physically present, was insisting to not fall in love with this 5-foot frame, fall in love with Avatar, with Satya Sai Avatar, not with this orange robe, not with my hair, not with how I look. With the divine, which is the omnipresent Swami. Probably for devotees who have been here for a long time have always seen Swami from a distance, from the United States. Your imagination of Swami, or your how you pray to Swami, is the omnipresent form, which was not the case for someone who has lived close to Swami, and now you're so stuck with the form. Swami has always told us to go beyond the form, go beyond the form, an omnipresent form. So the reason it's very important to speak about the omnipresence of Bhagavan today more than ever is because he is not physically available for us. Earlier, even if the slightest of the problems, for those who had the chance, could get solutions from Swami. Swami, I have to buy site B or site A, which one should I buy? And Swami would tell you which should you buy. Swami, should I paint my house green or yellow? Swami has told people what he should paint. Swami, what should I name my pet? People have asked, and Swami have given names to pets. This is Swami. Today, he is not physically available for us, but that is not a mess. This is Swami's plan. Again, every time Aradhana Mahotsavam is celebrated April 24th, again, I call it celebration and an observation because this is Swami's will. He decided, there is, Swami himself has said, there is one thing more stronger, more powerful than his own self, and that is his will. He has willed it that he will go. And you and me as his followers, as his devotees, have to celebrate, have to enjoy, have to really pray to him that, yes, Swami, yes, your will has prevailed and I am happy about it. Tell me, what should I do now? What is my role in your mission after you physically have left? Instead of sticking on to the form and staying there forever and not being able to move on. That is not what Swami would expect. So the omnipresence of the Lord is to be understood now and to be given importance now much more than ever. All of us, I am no expert in telling you what voice is that comes from within, how does it sound like, does it have an echo effect with it when it comes, that you understand that it is God and it is not anything else. I have absolutely no idea. I am nobody in this. Probably some of you are much more erudite and understandable in this subject. Not me. But know for a fact that Swami has said, Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sanatana. Body is the temple of God, and I am the indweller in that temple. So Swami is inside of each of us. He said, I have no other job but to be with you, but to take care of you, but to be around you, in you, and outside of you. So he is inside and he speaks. It's up to us to connect to him within ourselves and understand what he expects. So there is a simple, there is a formula that Swami has given when someone asked him, Swami, how do we know that it's you speaking, you telling us what it is, and how should we not be confused with some other voices coming from within? He says, forget the voice within. Ask yourself a question every time you are in a dilemma. If Swami were to physically see this, would he approve of your action? Would he approve of your thought? Would he approve of your deed? And if your answer is yes, Swami will like what I am doing, go ahead by all means and do it. I see it's time, and I see also that they've given me some opportunity to interact once again this afternoon. So we'll come back and talk more about Swami's omnipresence and love. Thank you so much for listening, and Jai Sai.